Hey everyone, Justin Brawl here, and now this is a bit late, but I just saw the episode of Black Clover, episode 6, The Black Bulls, very much early in the day, but I had to go to work in the morning, so I couldn't actually do my review. So here it is, even though it was like hours late, it's like 7:25 right now, and the next half hour, Riverdale's going to come up on 8 o'clock on CW 11, so I got to make this thing quick, or at least crunch the time before 8 o'clock happens, so episode 6 basically was the episode where Asa fully meets the rest of the Black Bulls squad, which Yami, the captain of the team, the captain of the squad, declared, ultimately said they are the worst squad of the entire. If the praying mantises were basically the weakest, not the weakest, like the low form rank, but still had, some more variety, the Black Bulls will likely is the worst of the group. Both because of their destruction of their during their missions and possibly the personalities of the people who are focused with the Black Bulls. And speaking of the members of the Black Bulls, Asta runs down with the whole, gives an introduction to every single one after the whole thing, after each member of the Black Bulls, basically two members of the Black Bulls destroyed the part of the hall of their base. One was eating fully, one was blows and nosebleed, as a picture of his sister. I'll get to him in a bit, to that character. One girl was hungover, one guy was just standing in the back just doing nothing. And all four of the rest of the characters who were outside at the time were just looking at like, okay, this is really happening. It's just like in shock. This is the hero he's going to be focused with for the majority of his life. Now, speaking to the members of the Black Bulls, I actually do have the list here in my phone, but because I actually don't exactly remember all the members' names. And you see a bit of a shine on my face here from the phone, that's just the brightness. I had the brightness really up. So, aside from Captain Yami Tsukihiro, who we met from episode 3, I believe, or 4. Yeah, episode 4 it was, that we met him. We're also on to the links. The good-looking guy here, remember? I think his name was, Finro, yeah, Finro, Real Kase. Or I was going to call him by the first name, Finro, the pretty boy of the group, introduces every single member, and he always says with the sort of like, he's a good person, he's a good guy, he's a good girl, she's a good girl, or also like that. So the members of the Black Bulls currently up to this point, but there's one person on this list that I'm reading that I don't think really made their appearance just yet, but it's confirmed here that this character named Gray, is a member of the Black Bulls, but I don't remember seeing her in episode 6, let alone in chapter 3 in the manga. But the character outside from Asta, who's a newly recruit member, here and Yami the captain, and Finral and Gordon, we have these members here. Magnus Swing, he's the guy with the mohawk, and he's the mohawk guy, and he has the glasses. Basically, his magic is mostly fire, and when he uses weapons of fire, I'll get to Magna in a bit. There's a Vanessa. She was the drunk girl that made her appearance, and apparently she's basically going to be the fan service of the group, who's basically going to flirt with Asa. Asa clearly, Asa's blushing, he has a nosebleed because, she's, if you have a close who's like so freaking hot. But yeah, in his heart saying that I have sister Lily, I cannot do this to her, but I'm also kind of curious about what she means by a special treat when she got up close to Asa's face. Magna Vanessa, there's also Luck. He's a kid with these boots around him. We'll see more of them mostly in the anime, but for those who read the manga, knows what I'm talking about, his boots. Basically, he's bouncing around he was the one bouncing around the walls like freaking like a speedball, ricocheting off like a speedball or something, but he also has an attitude, he loves to fight. I want to fight. He constantly smiles when he says it's like, I want to fight. That's basically what Luck is. There's a little bit of another set to Luck that we'll explain much more later in the manga after a certain point. Well, will explain later. Finral, the pretty boy, we already met him. We already met Gord. There's a silent guy who speaks, but he constantly speaks so lowly. And Finral keeps saying he's a good guy, she's a good girl. Oh, should make up. There's also Gachi Adley. Goche is this the guy with the comb hair over his eye. He looks in the mirror. That person, he was like looking at himself because he was like a pretty boy too. But no, apparently there's a shot of his nose bleeding. It turns out he's looking at a picture of his sister, his younger sister. He's constantly being teased by mostly members of the group for being a sister because you know how incest works, and it's just really weird, and it's somehow it gets past as an anime as if Orimo and Urumanga Sensei right now to go by. Those two are like very incest heavy series. Yet they still managed to find a fan base, so I'm surprised that they managed to find one. At least they get a fan base. There's also a Charmy Pepiston. Charmy, she was this short girl who's constantly eating a bunch of sweets. So there's not much, we haven't known much about just yet, but you'll keep in mind she is very much into sweets. She eats a lot of sweets, and she's willing to share some, but only half. Like half of yours is mine, half of mine is yours. What's love, half is mine. But towards the end of the episode, when she gets a piece of welcoming piece to a cupcake to Asa for being officially welcome to the Black Bulls, she only gets like half and half. Think of it like a quarter of it, and he still accepts it, and he still eats it. And so I was like, these two are definitely going to get along in terms of food. So I can definitely see a abundant friendship between both Asa and Charmy. I think there's another character named there's this big, huge, fat guy, but his name was Gray, or not Transformation. I believe that one. I think that must have been Gray, who was Transformation in different form. So that's a member of the Black Bulls. There's one other character who was in this list, but didn't get in full introduction until the next episode preview, which we'll see. I'll actually get to that point later. And that's basically all the members of the Black Bulls. I was going to say the Elite 10, but no. It's the I was supposed to say Elite 10 from Food Wars, but mixed with so many members, trying to count 2 series with so many members in the group, it's really hard to keep track of which one I'm talking about, but this is the Black Bulls. That was a rundown of the characters. Get a look at the personalities. So this episode was very focused on Austin meeting the Black Bulls, who will eventually become his squad and his friends, most of the majority of his life until he becomes the Wizard King. And moving forward, he'll have most of the relationship between certain characters of the group, certain members of the group. Like with Asa and Yagasi, mostly a student-teacher relationship between two buildings some point later, or maybe not, depending on how much Yami, how much does Yami affect Asa's life moving forward to become the Wizard King. With other characters, we won't until much later. I think he might have some relationship with other characters from the other members in the manga, but for now, I can see Asa and Yami being a student-teacher, Yami being the teacher, Asa being the student, which is most likely inevitable. I could see a friendship between both Asa and Char in terms of food, Asa and Luck in terms of fighting abilities, because Asa is physically strong, he's physically built, physically strong, and Luck likes to fight. I can see somewhat of a flirtatious relationship between Asa and Vanessa, because how Vanessa teasily flirts with Asa. And maybe that he's clearly much more younger than her, she's so willing to tease him. Which kind of means bringing him into the manhood here. But Asa with Gaishe, not too sadly to have those, especially with Gray at this point. Gordon and Finral are also on the edge, and how exactly he'll mostly bother with them. But there's one character, actually 2 characters. Well, the second character will most appear much later in the next episode. This character, Magna, I can also see him and Asa most likely be the best of friends in this entire squad, because they're both loud and obnoxious characters. They're both loud characters and cost like a much more, they can say more destruction. Especially when Magna's form of magic is fire magic, and when he pulls out his Grimoire and he pulls out his weapon, it turns out to be a bad, because it turns out his design looks basically like a thug, like a delinquent, and he uses fire magic like fireballs and swings it at, and he swings with fire bat and fireball. So most like fire magic is basically his forte, and he uses a bat as the main. He can use his fire to manifest his fire into a bat. The fireballs or the baseballs itself. And you can do much more fire magic he does. We can see more of that mostly later down in the anime. In the manga, there's definitely more to his fire magic, especially every other member of the Black Bulls magic come to fruition in front of Asta. But I definitely do see a budding relationship between Asta and Magna moving forward. Before I continue, there was one shot of with the Golden Dawn. He meets one of the members of the Golden Dawn, who appears to either royalty or a noble. And the Silver Eagles and the Golden Dawn are mostly members who consist most specifically of noblemen and royalty. But Yuno's the only one of the group who's not of royalty or nobility. He's from the sticks, the boonies. And if he's with this group, he isn't likely going to get too friendly with everybody else yet. more so with this guy with the cat with the glasses. I just don't remember his name, but we'll definitely see him again much later. And that was basically from the Golden Dawn side of things, but in the episode, the introductions were all said. There was an initiation between the fact that Asa has to get this introduction ceremony, initiation in a way, in order to get his robe, be an official member of the Black Bulls. Magna tells him in certain situations, like do 1,000 pushes, do 1,000 sit-ups, like bang your head on a rock and something like that. Lift this rock, because I saw there's a shot of him lifting up this rock and he's struggling for a bit, but he's able to lift that son of a bitch. And moves on. The next thing goes to fight magic. A fight between magic. Venom gets his Grimoire just in case if Asa doesn't survive. So it's basically fire magic versus Asa's Grimoire, which of this we don't exactly truly know exactly what it is. But the 5-leaf clover Grimoire. Asa uses right when he's about to use the final. Right when he's about to throw the biggest attack on Asa. Asa realizes when he's dead, he's probably gonna die because he can move fast. He move very quickly, but he's not fast. He was able to react fast enough to Magna's swing. And then instead of just nullifying the match, he decided to reflect it. He hits it back at him. And Magna survives, so Asa realizes another ability of his sword. He knows for a fact that his sword ability to nullify magic when he cuts down like this, but that's when like the sharp edge of the blade itself actually has the ability to nullify magic, while the actual blade, like the more solid form, I believe I was to say, I'm not much of a not a sword craftsman or a sword master, but you know what I'm talking about here, has the ability to reflect magic. So that's another ability of Asa's Grimoire, mostly to specifically his sword. We get to see more of that. And Mana fully accepts him into a member of the Black Bulls and like everybody else. He gets the robe, he gets the insignia on his bandana, on his headband, on his headband, and he's officially a member of the Black Bulls. Then towards the end of the episode, we see this shot of another character who wasn't fully introduced just yet. Ultimately finds out that's another member. More than instant, she scoffs her hair like this, like a completely arrogant demeanor. We'll see more. We're gonna see her in her introduction in the next week's episode. Tell the other new member. So it wasn't just Asa who managed to make it to the Black Bulls, someone else did. A girl. And just from how it's seen from the manga at this point, I can definitely see that these two will definitely have some relationship. But we have to wait and see until next episode. So this episode was just basically just the introduction to the Black Bulls squad. Asa first being a member of the Black Bulls by passing the initiation ceremony. And into a new character who also played a big part for Asa's life. And I think by some point in the manga, some Black Clover fans, I don't say that you have to, but most likely just from how most series done, when characters are male and female, or male and male and female and female, you tend to shift some characters. I can see these two characters heavily be shifted moving forward. But that's for another time until we get to her introduction next week. So until then, leave a like, subscribe, and all your friends, and I'll see you on the next video. Laters.